So what would you say the main role of the library is within the BFI and its relationship?
It's very important. Uh, well, the library has been here since pretty much the beginning. I think it was when it started, it was all about the archive, the film archive, which is where I started working as well. So for me, it was kind of the core of the BFIs, the collections, and how the printed material that is the origin of the library, as I understand it, I think. It was almost like accidentally acquired. It came with the films, so it was always the material got there to support all the stuff that was being collected and donated through the film archive. And now, we always say it's the biggest collection of printed material in the world about film and television. So there's a lot about television as well, which is like, kind of maybe less known, but we give access to lots of television materials and to actual viewing of the BBC, etc. We are the kind of gateway to that. So it's an amazing collection about film and television, and at the moment I used to be membership, so it was quite cheap, but obviously it attracted more like academic staff and a certain kind of audience, and now it's free and it's located in South Bank, so it's, the idea is that open to everyone, and now it feels more like a really nice place to do research, and hopefully it is all focused on the collections, because it has changed a lot in that we have less space here to have the collection, so a lot of it has to be kept off-site, and that makes it maybe a bit less, it's a bit more challenging sometimes to offer everything to people who are not like it used to be. There's less things here, because with it being digitized more and more, I guess we're a bit in between having all the access digitally and the access to the printed material, which is, as I said, it's not enough here, I think. So there's been a big change.
Is it video? So the first question is, what is your role within the BFI?
I work in special collections, which is paper records of filmmakers and film ephemera.
And what is the BFI to you personally?
It's my employer, and it's an important cultural establishment. It's a repository of film history.
Would you say that public access to the BFI, specifically the archive, is easy?
It's not. It's easy if you got a good reason to do it.
Right.
If it's for instance, if it's documents, and if you've got a good reason for seeing them, like you're doing research, and it sounds to me like you do have a good reason, and we send the documents down to the Reuben Library, BFI Reuben Library at South Bank.
Oh, right, okay.
You can see them there. We occasionally have people at the archive in Berkhamsted as well. You'd have to go through something called Collections Gateway.
Oh, okay, right.
If you wanted to see actual moving image.
Do you know how the archive is funded?
Blimey. We get a grant from the government, from the Ministry of Culture, Media and Sport. We get lottery funding particularly for projects. We get money from things we do, like running the South Bank complex, the cinemas, the NFT. I think that's about it, really.
Right, okay, that's good. Do you think having a physical archive is important, and if so, why?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely vital, because digital records only give you so much. Seeing the actual object itself. Again, I'm talking about the document side of it, really. For instance, you see, like the script that the actual director's worked on and put his own annotations on. You can see, it's something he's worked with while he's shooting the film.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a resonance about it which you don't get with digital records. As for moving image, they're not what he envisioned. what he envisioned is on film. You go to the cinema now, they just run off a DVD.
Yeah.
And they look completely different from the grainy quality you get with a film. It's like the difference between listening to an album on a CD and listening to a digital download, and listening to it on a 78 or a vinyl record. It's completely different quality. And to see someone like a film by Michael Powell made on the actual film he shot on, completely different experience to seeing it on a DVD or on television, in the cinema, on a digitised image. So it's absolutely vital.
I'll pass you over to Ree, if that's all right.
So do you think the BFI has any competitors? If so, who are they?
Well, I mean, there's all these streaming things on, those Netflix and things like that. But actual competitors, what we do, we're completely unique. I mean, conserve film, we restore it, we house the huge legacy of film culture, British film culture. I would say that really, in this country, there's no one who comes near us, really. I mean, there's lots of smaller film archives, but and of course, there's major film archives overseas. There's Federation of International Film Archives here, all the film archives together. But in this country, the BFI really is the leading player.
Do you know how the BFI create and develop their connections to other organisations?
Well, I just mentioned FIAF. I mean, that's the Federation of International Film Archives. On a commercial level, I'm not really qualified to say, I'm afraid.
Okay, fair enough. Do the BFI have much control over which films they help fund?
Again, it's not really my thing, but there was the UK Film Council, which has now been made part of the BFI, so they do have a say. Yeah, they do have a say. I suppose it's all done by committees, though. So
okay.
Yeah, they do. We do fund quite a lot of films every year. Okay,
so this is the last question. So do you think the BFI should also promote and show video art?
Well, the BFI is, I suppose, responsible for the whole of film history and culture, and that, I suppose, video art is a part of it. So, why not? Maybe there should be.
Thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it, honestly.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.